All right, so this is the beast?
Yeah, this is a combine.
All right, what is it? How's it work?
It's a combine. Corn goes in the front, it strips the cobs off, runs it into the feeder house, it takes the kernels off, into the hopper she goes.
Right on, so a bunch of magic on the front end, does some more magic inside, and then it
lots of magic.
Kicks it all out the backside.
Comes in, magic happens, and corn goes in the hopper.
All right, so how fast does this thing run?
Oh, it depends on what the corn yield is. You can typically, with this one, it's about 5 to 6, 6.5.
Okay.
If things are running smooth.
Sure, how many rows is it eating at a time?
This one's only a 12 row.
All right, so we got 20 acres to harvest in this. How long do you think that would take to do 20?
Hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's say we get at it and go start harvesting some corn.
All right.
All right, we should be good there. All right, so where are we heading to?
Oh, it's down the field over here.
All right. How's it been going so far with the harvest?
Pretty good. So that's a few equipment issues. It's combine and dry. It's yielding exceptionally well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know we had a kind of a weird start to the year. It was wet in the spring. A lot of people didn't get it in time. I think we got it at a fairly good time compared to the rest of folks, but
yeah, if we would have waited another 2 weeks like some guys ended up doing, they didn't get a lot of their stuff in.
Right, sure. So how does weather really play a big factor in how much yield you get and how a crop ultimately turns out?
Big. It's really big. I mean, it can be on corn, a week difference can be the 20, 30, 40 bushel,
really?
Depending on what type of weather events are coming through.
So how does the front end work? Everything down here. I see we got a bunch of, they look like triangles to me, but what's going on with these, with this header here for corn?
So each one goes in, a row of corn goes in between each one. And you can see some there's chains down there. You'll see it better when I spin it up. But there's some screws that are pulling in on the row, and then there's some rollers down there that grab it once it gets past the screw portion, and they suck the corn plant down and through.
Okay.
And then there's plates right there called stripper plates. Those, when it sucks the corn plant through there, the cob hits it, and the cob obviously can't pass through that. So the cob gets stripped off.
I see.
The corn plant.
All right.
And then the chains carry it up into an auger, which you really can't see right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that carries it into the combine.
All right. And then it all gets stored back here behind us?
Correct.
How many bushels does a combine like this hold?
I think this one's only 250.
250? All right.
Some of the newer ones are 400, 450, 500.
Wow. That's a lot of bushels.
A lot of bushels.
So how many rows did you say this was? How many rows are we taking out at a time?
This is a 12 row.
All right, so we're gonna start eating 12 rows of corn. It's gonna get sucked into the back of this machine, and then it pulls all the cobs off there, rips it off, and just keeps all the kernels back there.
When it enters into the combine, it comes into a cylinder that is spinning up against a stationary plate, essentially.
Okay.
And the cobs get rubbed up against that, and the kernels fall off and down, and that drops down into essentially another pan type of thing, and it shakes it, and air blows through it, and it allows the kernels to drop through, and the other material to be blown out. Mm-hmm. And then that, further past that's dropping down into another auger type thing, and then that carries it up into the back tank.
So what are we doing here? What's this process?
So right now, if you didn't have a grain cart, you would have to stop at every end of the field if you could make it to the end of the field.
Uh-huh.
So the grain cart is here so we can dump into it and just keep going, and then he goes and dumps into the truck.
I see. I know that Bridget's going to be over there, so she's going to hopefully enlighten us on what's going on in the other tractor as well. The main rule, obviously, to keep you going.
Yeah, so running a grain cart is almost, depending on the combine you have and how fast you can dump, it can be as good as running almost another combine. having the carts there.
Right.
The one combine going.
So if you have to stop and go, how long does it take to unload, I guess this combine?
Oh, God, it's been a while since I've timed it. It's 4 or 5 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes. When you're cruising along, depending on the field, you can probably do a few passes in 5 minutes, right? Or at least a pass.
You get down the field quite a ways, yeah.
I'm sure. All right, so Parker, tell me what's going on with these monitors here. What are these monitors telling you, and what are they saying right now?
This one is just for the auto guidance, for the auto steer. It used to be for a different yield monitoring, but we no longer use that system. This is the new system that we use. It just uses an iPad. It's, I think it's Field View, but it goes through Farm TRX, which is, it helps these older combines.
How many acres are you able to get done in a day if you're able to just go, go, go?
With these two combines, we can get half section done, which is about 300 acres, 320 acres.
So far on the 20 acres that we're harvesting, how well do you think we're stacking up to average on what we've been yielding so far?
I'd say pretty good. I mean, it's surpassed my expectations on what it was going to do.
Well, that's good. That's very good.
Especially with how dry it's been.
Right. I guess that just goes to show.
And how wet it was.
Getting in that week or two early.
Yeah.
Was a good decision. So what have we averaged so far on it?
What have we averaged on it?
Yeah.
About 190, 194-ish.
194-ish?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
I see that there's a lot of dry material building up on the front of the combine. I know that we've dealt with fire conditions across the state, and you always hear sometimes of combines catching on fire. What's going on in those situations where the combines catch on fire, and what do you do as a preventative or maintenance to lower that risk?
Maintenance, yeah, in general is a big thing. A lot of the times that some of these machines catch on fire, they had a bearing go out, and then so you got a shaft running metal on metal, and it sparks, and
sure. And
a lot of the times that's what'll happen.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, these machines are running sunflowers. It's a lot. You get like an oily residue mist.
Sure, yeah.
Those catch on fire for different reasons, but
this dry kindle here, everything we're eating is kindle, and almost as far as you can see is just dry plant matter to catch on fire.
It's very dry.
So I can only imagine how fast something like that can grow out of control on a very windy day.
I've seen how fast fire spreads, like say we have a wet fall, we can't come back in here and dig this.
Sure.
It'll still be here in the spring.
Yeah.
And it's just an insulating layer, nothing dries out. And so a lot of the times if it stays wet, we light the cornfields or the corn trash on fire.
Sure.
Wait for a little bit of a breeze and light one end.
Yeah.
And I've seen how fast it can spread in a 15-mile-an-hour wind going from one end of the field to the other.
Sure.
I can't imagine, what was it, 70, 80-mile-an-hour gusts out?
All right, well, appreciate you letting me come in here and eat some harvest time. I gotta say, I do a lot of the farming simulator game, and they do a pretty good job on making it pretty close to what's going on in here.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got the corn out of the field, so why don't we go find out what happens after we get it out of the combine. Let's go see what Bridget's got for us over there in the grain cart. Hey, do they DoorDash out to the field?
I think the neighbor has gotten DoorDash.
Oh, seriously?
Yep. I remember him, he's about 3 miles closer to town.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure it was Grubhub or DoorDash or something.
Yeah, sure.